Hello, welcome to Saturday Afternoon Adventures. I'm your host, Robot Spacer.
I'm a very warm stream ghost.
It's 79 degrees here, which is a whole lot more than it was yesterday. Frankly, too many. Hello, 6-7. Good to see you, and delighted to hear you'll have more time for jokes today. So we can all see you holding your popsicle in your mouth, FYI.
I gotta type in my password, and it's very hard to do.
Yeah.
Ever, generally.
Some advanced computer techniques for y'all. We're here to continue King's Quest VI. As you can see off to the side, we are currently in this interesting area with books piled hazardously, and also we got a Black Widow here, who's coming on pretty strong. Hey, David Alexander, good to see you. 79 degrees sounds like what's happening in Pittsburgh too. Feels like midsummer. Yeah, it's I would prefer some spring temperatures first, but
yeah, in my opinion, in April it should be no hotter than 60-something degrees.
Yeah, like upper 60s is like, okay, well, I guess for a little bit that's fine. But beyond that, no thanks. So before we get into the game, I wanted to share this magazine, which is in kind of a sad state, but what can you do? It's from 1992, summer issue of Interaction Magazine, your guide to interactive excitement. This is Sierra's... Is there a word for this kind of advertising magazine?
I have no idea.
Anyways, they publish this magazine. It's basically just a big ad, but it's got, articles that are sometimes more fluff, like pure advertising kind of fluff, and sometimes they're more interesting.
Advertorial is a word that comes to mind, but I don't know that refers to a publication as a whole.
Yeah, that's not quite the same.
But more like promotional material that is presented like a regular magazine article.
Right. So as you can see here, we got Roberta Williams talks about King's Quest VI, which is relevant to our stream today. Let's flop open the cover here. Got a nice ad for Infocom's Lost Treasures of Infocom. All the greatest hits. And let's see, I think the article we're interested in is on page 40. There's also a sneak peek of the game on page 24, but that's the more advertising type of content. Here's a fun little article about Quest for Glory. Welcome to the world of clay animation. I did not realize they did that in Quest for Glory.
I noticed that when we were watching Silver's Quest for Glory stream series, I noticed that the animations had a kind of claymation-like quality.
Right, I noticed that too, but I didn't think about it.
It did not occur to me at any point that it would literally be claymation.
Right. Hey, Seeker. Good to see you. Sierra's New Adventures. This is some graphic design, y'all. Love it. So here's this article on King's Quest VI. This is just sort of a preview, kind of talking about what the game is like. A lot of stuff we went over last week, but it does have some nice little concept illustrations along the side here. I think there's more of this kind of stuff in the hint book for King's Quest VI again, which we'll look at some point. And then the good stuff. Oh wow, they got lots of concept art for different games in here. It's pretty fun. If I remember correctly, EcoQuest is another. I think one of the first games that Jane Jensen worked on. Football.
What about football?
There was an article about football.
Okay. Did Sierra make a football game?
I mean, probably. If not Sierra directly, then some... Dynamics, which they kind of like merged at some point.
I see.
Okay, so that was EcoQuest 2. I was wondering. There's no 2 here, but it does have subtitle Lost Secrets of the Rainforest. Pinball with Roger Wilco. Nice. Here we go. Here's the good stuff. I could bookmark these in advance, but I kind of think it's more fun to flip through and find them. So I was just going to read an excerpt, but then I started reading more of it, and I'm like, I'm just going to read this whole thing. It's only 3 pages, like not even, more like 2.5 at most. It's titled, A Game Designer Designs the Future. Roberta Williams is exploring new frontiers for interactive fiction, and she's taking an industry with her. I don't want to be the only designer on King's Quest forever, said Roberta Williams, sitting in her husband's office looking out the window on a sunny spring afternoon in the Sierra foothills. And I think people will be looking for a new King's Quests for a long time. These are the sort of words that could cause a lot of alarm among the millions, literally, of people who have entered the world of King's Quest, who have trekked not only through the enchanted corridors of Daventry, but through the wit and magic of Roberta Williams' imagination. But Roberta has big and bold new plans for Daventry, for Sierra, and for a whole new style of interactive adventuring. And like probably nobody else in the world, not even her husband Ken, Roberta has a vision of how far this industry can go, and she plans to take it there.
Not even her husband.
How the adventure began. The story has been told many times, but it frequently bears repeating. In 1980, Ken Williams scraped together every penny he could find and bought an early Apple II computer. His idea was to create a Fortran compiler for Apple computers, partly to placate Roberta, who wasn't too excited about all the money Ken was spending on the project, and partly to get her interested in computers. Ken brought home a text adventure game. While Ken toiled away writing serious software, Roberta puzzled her way through the game, finishing it with a sense of exhilaration and a heavy dose of computer adventure addiction. They don't name the game, but I assume this is referring to Colossal Cave Adventure. Disappointed with the text adventure games available at the time, Roberta sat down and mapped out her own adventure. 2 or 3 weeks later, she presented Ken with a stack of papers containing the script, maps, and puzzles for her idea. Ken was unimpressed, claiming that computers were serious machines built to tackle serious problems. Ken only got interested in the project when Roberta said she wanted to include pictures in the game. He then created the tools to produce game art, programmed the logic for the game, and devised a way to cram 70 pictures on a single disc, while Roberta did the art and wrote the text to the game. The result was Mystery House, the world's first graphic adventure game. It was the beginning of Roberta's career as a game designer. It was the beginning of Sierra Online, and it was the beginning of an industry. Designing a game was much different then, said Roberta. The role of the designer has changed so much. In those days, a designer was writer, director, producer, and editor. We were hands-on to the end. We managed the project from the concept through quality assurance. Redesigning the designer. Now, she points out, the designer develops the overall game concept. Staff writers pen dialogue and narration. Art designers create a look that illustrators will carry throughout the game. Musicians score soundtracks. Designing a game has become a more specialized endeavor, but the basic principles of designing, according to Roberta, have remained the same. I hate to call them games, she said. I think of them more as interactive stories. Every story has to be well written and engaging, but it's up to the designer to add the interactivity, the roundness of exploration, and the challenge of the puzzles. Designing a game got radically different in 1990 when Sierra changed over from a text input interface to an icon-based, parserless means of controlling the gameplay. I think we as designers are still learning how much more we can do with a game using the new interface, said Roberta. Getting away from designing around typed commands is allowing us to create deeper stories, more intricate puzzles, and characters that can become more fully developed as the game progresses. It's really freed us up to build a kind of interactive fiction that's emotionally involving and challenging at the same time. After King's Quest V, Roberta said she spent a full year looking at all the perceived benefits and shortcomings of the new interface system. For fans of the Icon interface, she wanted to retain the ease of play. For the critics, she wanted to find a way to make games more challenging. The result was complex and intriguing. King's Quest VI is harder and easier than King's Quest V, she said. You can get through it on a minimal level. You'll miss half the story, but you'll finish. More advanced gamers will find lots of things to do, lots of red herrings, lots of clues pointing in different directions, and a more complex story filled with better defined characters. So much to do, so little time. While the role of the designer has become more specialized, the scope of each game has become much larger. King's Quest V took 10 months to create. King's Quest VI will take 14. Each leap in technology means more work for the designer and less time to work on new projects. In spite of this, Roberta is currently overseeing an ambitious slate of new projects. 2 new adventures and a cinematic project that defies the conventional description of computer game are on their way.
Is that Phantasmagoria they're talking about there, you think?
I believe so, and we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Each bearing the signature of Roberta's unique style of storytelling. The schedule and scope of these projects is so ambitious that Roberta has handpicked teams of specialists to help build these groundbreaking games. The first of those is Laura Bow in the Dagger of Ammon-Ra, the sequel to her best-selling The Colonel's Bequest. Roberta forged the framework of the mystery, working as creative consultant for the second Laura Bow mystery. Writing and puzzle designs were handled by Bruce Balfour. It was my job to make sure the feel of The Colonel's Bequest and the Dagger of Ammon-Ra remained consistent, said Roberta. I wanted to make sure Laura Bow was the same person who would respond to things in the same way. I was heavily involved in the beginning, working on characters, art style, and the look and feel of the game. Then Bruce took over. Roberta has found the experience rewarding. While she's able to creatively form the second chapter of Laura Bow's adventures, she's been freed from the huge time commitment that would have come from managing every single detail of the project. And she's been delighted with the fresh ideas Bruce has brought to the game. All this newfound time hasn't gone to waste. Much of it has gone into the making of the new King's Quest, an absolute epic. Finding new keys to the kingdom. I need a drink of water.
You're doing a lot of reading.
Yes. Hey, Efton, good to see you. Yeah, I've heard the second Laura Bow game is maybe not so great, but I also haven't heard too specifically why. So I'm gonna play the Colonel's Bequest. I think that'll probably be the next Spooky Tuesday game after we finish up Gabriel Knight. And I haven't yet decided if we'll play the second one after that. But I might. Finding new keys to the kingdom. I originally wanted to be the creative consultant on King's Quest VI, she said. I wound up being much more deeply involved than I planned. As hard as it is for a lot of people to imagine a King's Quest game that wasn't designed by Roberta, it almost happened. And it may actually come to pass in the not too distant future. When Roberta wrote King Graham's first adventure back in 1984, she could hardly have foreseen the devout following the series would create. Since then, millions of people have followed the adventures of the first family of Daventry, making it arguably the most popular computer game series in history. The King's Quest series is a chronicle of old-fashioned values and heroism and truth, she said. People find they can win using their heads and through good acts, hard work, and honesty. Some things more honest than others, if you ask me. They find that intelligence and kindness will win out where violence will not. This philosophy has proved a welcome and witty relief to players put off by the endless glut of hack-and-slash fantasies that spring up on the game shelves. But after 5 installments in the King's Quest series, Roberta was getting restless. I felt it was getting stale, that I'd used most of my good ideas on King's Quest already, she sighed. And I wanted to do other things, I was excited about. I really felt it was being underutilized by doing only King's Quest. Roberta felt the time was right to let King's Quest stand on its own. She thought the series was ready to go on the shelves without her name above the title. It's such an established series, with such a strong look and feel, she said. I find it hard to believe that other strong people can't carry through with it. Deciding to move herself out of the designer's role, however, turned out to be a lot easier than actually doing it. King's Quest, it seems, is in Roberta's blood. I found I couldn't tear myself away from King's Quest, she said, and I felt I owed it to the people who had been following the series. So I shared the design duties with Jane Jensen, who co-designed EcoQuest, and the directing duties with Bill Skirvin, a longtime Sierra art designer and director. She and Jane hammered out a design and story, then Jane took over the actual writing of dialogue and narration. Working with co-director Bill Skirvin, she established the look for the game. Then Bill took over the task of staging live video captures, costuming the actors, directing the action, and overseeing the art. I found it a very enjoyable experience, she said. I was ready, for the most part, to let it go, so I'm relieved that these people are there, that they're talented, and that they care as much about as I do about King's Quest. They're listening to me and working very closely with me. Liberated from the day-to-day of directing King's Quest, Roberta has found herself able to have an impact on many of Sierra's new projects, sharing her knowledge and expertise on multiple projects. A scary future for Sierra. Part of the reason Roberta is freeing herself up is her passion for a new project called Scary Tales. It's a horror story, and a tale that she thinks many will view as a real departure from the sort of thing people have come to expect from Sierra and Roberta Williams. I'm interested in this project. I'm really interested in this project, she laughs. It's the one that gets my blood boiling. I spent a lot of time studying horror, reading horror, watching horror, serious horror, not just haunted houses and ghosts.
Real horror.
The entire project will be created by capturing live actors, costumed and made up as the characters in the story. Sets may be created and locations photographed. Music and sound effects will be heavily used to establish mood and create suspense. Backgrounds and characters will not be painted in. In short, it will be an actual interactive movie. From a cinematic point of view, the camera angles and movements, and because of the realism in the characters and the use of live actors, the scripting has to be more advanced. Scary Tales will be released as a high-resolution 640 by 400 game, and if Roberta has her way, it may become Sierra's first CD-only game. I think I have Ken convinced on that, she laughs. We'll see. Designing the future. Where's the computer game industry going? More than one expert would tell you it's going wherever Roberta Williams decides to take it. According to Roberta, games will become more movie-like. New careers will include story editors, cinematographers, and sound effects specialists. The role of the designer will undoubtedly continue to evolve, but the principles of good adventure game design will remain the same. Mystery House, as primitive as it may seem by today's technological standards, contained all the elements of good interactive fiction, all the components Roberta maintains a designer must bring to each new game. The story was compelling and well written, the characters were interesting, the puzzles were tough but logical, and the climax was satisfying. The things that are enticing about Mystery House are the things that we as designers can never lose, she says, and never change. Ever. So obviously, when she was talking about Scary Tales, that ended up being called Phantasmagoria. It's interesting to me that they had a name that was like solidified enough to publish it in an article, but ended up not using it. Yes, high res 640 by 400.
Isn't it possible that that was like a working title or a code name or something? I mean, don't a lot of games in production go by code names?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it, didn't end up being the name, right. But there's not any explanation of like, this is a temporary name or anything like that.
Sure.
Like,
I'm just saying, like, it's common in the film industry, especially, I know for sure, and then I'm pretty sure also in games, when something is in production,
sure,
you don't want people to, like, I don't know, get the scoop on you. Or whatever. So you come up with a code name.
But I mean, there have been like articles I've come up in the past where they mentioned something she's working on and just won't bother to name it.
I see. Sure.
So yeah, that's summer of 1992's Interaction magazine. CD-ROM is slow. Yeah, they occasionally had some articles in the early CD-ROM era about like choosing the best CD-ROM drive. You know, they wanted to make sure you get the fastest loading drive you can and stuff like that, so you get the best experience possible. But yeah, the early days of CD-ROM games, long load times. Oh, hey, Lanky, let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Welcome. I missed a bunch of chat. I'm trying to catch up here. Colonel's Bequest, probably my favorite video game I ever played. Icons ruin the games. Oh, harsh words. Yeah, I have not ever played the Colonel's Bequest myself, so I'm excited to finally check that out when we get to it. It always intrigued me. It was just a lot of games, Sierra games, never came to Mac. I don't know if that was one of those. My guess is it was. It was around the time that King's Quest IV came out, which never came to Mac either. I think they were probably just in the process of, they had new game engine, and probably was a lot of work to get that ported over to Mac and stuff like that. Anyways, should we play some King's Quest? I think we should. So we last left... Oh, no. That's not right. Let me see what's wrong. Also, apologies if you're getting... Here we go. Okay. Whew. Okay. I was worried that would be more work than it actually was. I guess I did not fully test things when I was setting up. I thought I did. So what was I saying? We last left Prince Alexander. What's this island called? Isle of Wonder, I think? We got past the 5 gentlemen guarding the island, who each had a different sense to figure out if we were human. We managed to fool all 5. Honestly, surprisingly. This is the island where we started out. Isle of the Crown, I believe. Here's where we're at. Now we just have 2 screens. And then we also took an extremely brief stop at the Sacred Mountain, I think. Let's see. Let me grab some other... I think I have more blank pages in here somewhere. Uh-oh. Surely these can't all have stuff on them. Because I know we still haven't been to the Isle of the Beast. And eventually we'll have even more, I imagine. Okay, well, we'll have to find more paper when we need it. Okay. So I'm not really sure what to do with this Black Widow. I think we might have to leave this puzzle and come back to it. We do have lots of other things going on here to check out. Okay. Now I got all my stuff. Let's have another chat here.
So there you are, handsome. What can I do for you now? Have you changed your mind? My offer of dead wedlock is still open.
Okay, so I couldn't quite remember for sure, but she wants to get married, and I'm pretty sure if we do that, she will kill us. I think we tried that at the end of the stream last week. Let me know how that volume is. I feel like it's still a little loud here. Okay. But there's this enticing scrap of paper here that I think we need to get our hands on. I noticed this web dangling down here. I wonder if it's possible we could, like, unravel her web. Let's try it. We'll probably die.
Hey, don't touch that thread!
Oh!
Some people like to ask for trouble.
Okay, there was a dangling thread on her web. And I was like, I wonder if we can, like, unravel her web with that. It didn't quite unravel the web, but... Oh, we didn't get anything.
I mean...
What did that accomplish? Yeah, now she's mad. Was that bad?
What's your... Are you trying to get that loose page?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we want this piece of paper here. Like,
Alexander reaches out to touch the silky web.
we're dead now.
Rip.
How sweet the matrimony. I knew you'd change your mind.
I just wanted to see if maybe, like, there was no more
Alexander feels
dangling
the
thread,
sharp
but
prick
I
of
thought...
the Black Widow's teeth. Then a strange burning sensation.
I thought possibly we could continue to unravel the web, but... Unsurprisingly, no. So we have 45 points. Let's see... We did get 1 point for doing that. So we'll do it again.
Oh, so there you are, handsome.
I don't think...
What can I do for you now?
Alex now has spider chlamydia.
Oh no.
Hey, don't touch that thread!
Okay. Okay.
Alexander snatches the scrap of parchment, curious to see what's written on it.
We got it!
Yay!
Love. Oh!
The wind blows the scrap of paper from Alexander's hand,
Rude.
but he remembers what it said well enough.
Okay, interesting.
Also, the music has changed.
Sure has. I'm just gonna draw this little scrap of paper that says love on it. I assume that's gonna help us with the puzzle at some point. Just, we'll need to know the last word that's on a page with the corner torn off, or torn off if you prefer. All right. I am curious what else she has to say to us now.
Oh, so there you are, handsome. What can I do for you now?
She seems to have forgotten that she was mad at you.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense.
True.
I mean, it's all an act, right?
Right.
How do I exit here? Okay. Let's do a quick save. And let's see what's going on with these books and bees over here.
Piles of stacked books, looking ready to topple at any moment, have been arranged haphazardly on the sandy ground. Piles of stacked books, looking ready to topple at any moment, have been arranged haphazardly on the sandy ground.
Okay, can we take any books? Oh! Hello!
What do you think you're doing?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize these books had an owner. I'm in need of a rare book.
No owner? All books have owners, my good man. And this book owner, bookworm to you, wouldn't part with one of his books for anything.
Oh.
Isn't there something I can do for you to pay for the book?
Let's see. Do you have an itinerant clause?
No. No clauses at all, I'm afraid.
As an exception, you always should.
Sorry? What? What?
Don't mind oxymoron and diphthong. They're fairly limited grammatical principles, you know. Let's see. A marsh pig that does Texas?
No. I'm afraid not.
A dangling participle?
I'm fresh out.
A purple fiddle whacker?
Sorry?
No, I don't think so. Sorry.
An idiosyncrasy, perhaps?
Afraid not.
Ha! Then what good are you?
Not much, I guess. Okay, so
I guess your sentence fragment was not of any use there?
I think it is.
Alexander is carrying, oddly enough, a sentence. It says, "Where are you going?" Alexander already has a pretty good grasp on his words. There's no reason to use that on a pile of books.
Okay.
There's no reason to use that object there.
Do we need to do something else with this? What was the full?
Alexander is carrying, oddly enough, a sentence. It says, "Where are you going?"
Where are you going? I'm pretty sure we need to use that here. I can't remember the full puzzle. Perhaps we need to find some other letters. My feeling is we need to create a dangling participle. You know what I mean?
You're saying it right, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
But I can't remember what that means exactly.
Same.
Could you look up dangling participle?
Yep.
Let's have another chat.
Are you there, most venerable bookworm?
Do you have anything interesting yet?
A regular abnormality?
Okay, so we can't.
Let me see what I have.
Okay. Let's see what this accomplishes.
I have a sentence. Would that do?
An incomplete one, I suppose.
Why, actually, it is incomplete.
Just as I suspected, incomplete sentences are a dime a dozen, where you can literally just find them floating about. Complete sentences. Ooh, now there's something that's hard to come by these days.
I see. Sorry.
Okay, so we need to complete the sentence.
Do you still want to know what a dangling participle is?
I really do.
A dangling participle is a modifier that doesn't seem to modify anything. It occurs when the word being modified is either left out of the sentence or isn't located near the modifier. Put another way, a dangling participle is a modifier in search of a word to modify. For example, quote, "If found guilty, the lawsuit could cost billions." The dangling participle, if found guilty, seems to imply that lawsuits itself will be found guilty.
Okay, interesting.
To fix this, simply add the missing pronoun or noun, such as the company, him, or them.
Okay, got it. It's possible that doesn't actually have anything to do with the
Yeah,
solution.
I don't think that.
But I do think we need to find some more words
Right.
to complete this sentence. Should make a note of this. We're good on the spider now, I think.
We're learning.
Complete sentence for worm. Important task of the day. Okay, let's see if we can get out of this screen. Alright, and we still have
The Minnie Mouse clam.
Clam, yes. Clam voiced by Minnie Mouse herself.
Who hates dentists.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what's north of here. A swamp. Oh,
Oh? What do you see?
there's a face in this tree.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Kind of a dog face?
Yeah. Is it a dogwood? Ha ha ha.
It probably is.
Dogwoods aren't really swamp trees, though.
This screen just it doesn't scream safe to me, so that's why I did a quick save, even though I've already saved recently. Oh, this is looks like a little guy.
Where's the little guy?
On the right here. I think this is some sort of stick person creature.
Stickman?
Saving in a Sierra game is always a good idea. Yes.
Stickly?
You cannot possibly save enough in a Sierra game. Let's take a look.
A large tree stretches knotted limbs out over the swamp. Part of the tree's trunk is shaped like the face of a dog. Why, it must be a dogwood tree. A mushy swamp lies just off the path. It doesn't look like very good swimming.
I mean, I think most swamps are not great swimming. Why would you even think of that? Looks like a regular stick in the mud. Yeah, did I miss the stick, or is it just not?
A stick is stuck in the middle of the swamp.
Okay. Let's... Actually, I want to look at these here.
Milkweed thrives near the mucky swamp.
Milkweed.
Small bottles filled with milk grow on it like fruit.
Sure. That is how things work. Let's talk to the stick.
Alexander sees no point in trying to talk to that stick in the swamp.
Okay. Let's talk to the tree.
My dear tree, is it true that your bark is worse than your bite?
Got him.
My dear tree, is it true that your bark...
Okay. I feel like the dogwood is probably going to prevent us from taking this milkweed, but let's try.
Alexander takes a bottle of milk from the milkweed bush. Apparently, the dogwood tree doesn't like Alexander standing that close.
Okay. But I mean, we got what we were after, so it's all good.
The glass bottle is full of milk. How strange for a plant to produce not only milk, but a container to go with it.
It's pretty wild. I really thought this stick would... What are we going to do to make this stick talk to us? Oh! There's a little guy over here, too.
That bump on the log does not look particularly conversational to Alexander.
Okay. Let's head off this way and see what else we got. Oh! This is a little bit upsetting.
Are those Cabbage Patch babies?
They sure look like it, huh?
Alright.
Unless Alexander is mistaken, those plants must be baby's tears.
Oh, sure.
You know, that plant that we all know.
I assume that's the name of an actual plant.
It doesn't sound familiar at all. I've heard of baby's breath, but not baby's tears.
Yeah.
Vines of sweet ripening tomatoes climb up little wooden posts.
What else we got here?
A colorful array of snapdragons stand guard to one side of the path.
Sounds dangerous. What's this little guy?
Appears to be a hole in the garden wall.
Oh. It's a hole that's also a little guy.
Through the hole in the wall, Alexander sees a land that resembles a giant chessboard.
That's a kind of upsetting little guy.
It really is a hole in the wall.
Hmm? Now you done it.
Zounds, those wallflowers sure are shy, and the snapdragons are awfully protective of them. Alexander can't even get close to the wallflowers without causing quite a stir.
Quit. I didn't tell you to walk around so much. Quit doing it. You'll get yourself hurt. Okay.
A curiously speckled gate marks one end of the garden.
Mm-hmm. Can we open it? Oh. I didn't think that'd be so easy.
That door is made of pizza.
Is it?
I don't know. I already forgot what it looked like.
It did kind of look pizza-like.
Okay.
Pineapple pizza. Let's have another look. Honestly, didn't think it would just open like that, or I would have waited till it was finished.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see. Like,
yeah.
the yellow cheese and the red pepperoni.
Is that what it's supposed to look like?
A curiously speckled gate marks
Curiously
one end
speckled.
of the garden.
Alright, let's head back in. So, I believe we learned in the guidebook that the leaders of this island are two queens, and I think the ferryman suggested we should meet the leaders of each island. So, this seems like a good place to be.
Excuse me, what land lies beyond?
What land? Chessboard land, you knave.
I see. And is chessboard land part of the land of the Green Isles?
It is the home of the Red and White Queens, rulers of the Isle of Wonder, fairest of the islands that owe loyalty to the king of the land of the Green Isles. But perhaps not for long.
Oh.
What do you mean?
What is the purpose of unity with the great king and queen dead? The princess is worth serving, but the feud with the other isles is strong.
Oh.
I must insist, Your Highness. I shall send a lump of coal to the Vizier and the Princess as a present for their wedding, and that's the end of it.
And I suppose you'll leave me with only this stupid spoiled egg to send, Your Highness. I want to impress the new king and queen of the realm as much as you do. As queen of this island, I have every right to that lump of coal.
Who isn't queen of this isle? The lump of coal is in my possession. Therefore, I shall do as I please with it. Besides, there's nothing wrong with that spoiled egg.
The egg, though delightfully spoiled, is not nearly so valuable as the lump of coal, and you know it. Your Highness always got to carry the singing stone. It's not fair that you get the coal, too.
That doesn't count. The singing stone was stolen by that horrid beast. I should get to keep the coal just because my stone was stolen.
It wasn't your stone. It belonged to the Isle of Wonder treasury. Your Highness always thinks that everything is hers.
Excuse me, my good man, but could you settle an argument for us?
Of course.
Which of us should get to carry the coal and which the egg? Remember, white is the color of deserving truth and virtue.
Wow.
Quiet, Your Highness, and let him make up his own mind. I, for one, shall be more proper, and not even mention the fact that red is the color of love.
F-Town says I'd homer into
I'm
the
sorry,
bushes
Your
this
Majesty.
shit.
I'm
Yeah.
partial
Yeah.
to both red and white, but I'm afraid that I don't know how to solve your problem. One of you will just have to be gracious and allow the other the lump of coal.
What a ridiculously stupid idea.
Quite ludicrous.
He was a lot of help, wasn't he?
Oh, yes. Obviously a man of high intelligence.
Oh.
Did you have an opportunity to do anything there?
The lump
No.
of coal goes much better with my gown anyway. Black and red are imperial colors.
That's the silliest thing I ever heard. Red does not go with anything, being much too self-conscious. White is the perfect accompaniment to any color.
Yo, I got a free scarf. So at least that's something. Also made a note about the singing stone stolen by the beast. I assume that's the beasts of the Isle of the Beast.
Yeah. If you were going to have an
Alexander
opportunity
picks up the Red Queen's scarf.
to actually do or say anything, my only suggestion was going to be King Solomon this bitch. Cut the stone in half, and whoever protests is the most deserving of carrying the stone.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
that's the whole
Yeah,
King
yeah.
Solomon and the baby thing.
Right.
The scarf is made of red silk.
Okay.
Can I pass into your fair land?
Heavens, no! No humans allowed in chessboard land. Never have been, never will be.
Okay. Interesting. What would we do with a red scarf? Having ideas. I don't know what to make of all this. Like, when I got here and there was all this stuff, I was like, okay, so clearly I gotta do something with all this nonsense to get through the gate, right?
Right.
But no. Maybe I need this little hole
Alexander
guy.
decides to pick up the hole in the wall.
I bet I need the
in
hole
wall
guy.
Could be a very useful thing.
Right.
Alexander startled the poor thing. It's run off to hide behind the wallflowers.
Okay. It's starting to seem familiar here. So what do I do with the wallflowers? They're shy.
Greetings, ladies. How charming you look today.
The wallflowers are too shy to talk to Alexander.
Need hole, but wallflowers are too shy. I don't know what to do about that. I should have. Oh wait, I did make a list of the items we can get from the shop. We currently have the Nightingale, but we can go back and trade that at any time for a flute, a paintbrush, or a tinderbox. All right, and then he's also still got our ring, which we want to get back at some point. Tri-finger.
Good day, Snapdragons.
The Snapdragons don't seem inclined to communicate with anyone.
Excuse me, lettuce.
The lettuce just gives Alexander the cold shoulder.
Oh. Is it iceberg lettuce?
Probably.
Take one?
Alexander picks a head of iceberg lettuce.
Ye gads! That's cold.
Cool.
Alexander is carrying a full head of a queer-looking lettuce made of ice. The lettuce is rapidly melting.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Okay. So we presumably need to use that somewhere nearby.
Would that help the clam?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I don't know. Would that be soothing or like I can't remember exactly. Like I know
It has
the
a pain in its mouth,
Right.
An ache in its mouth, and it will let you look because it doesn't like dentists.
right. It's got a pearl. It might be kind of like soothing and a little numbing.
Seems worth
So
trying.
let's try that.
Since it's close by.
Don't think shy wallflowers will find much use in Tinder, though.
Perhaps Alexander should find out more about the oyster first.
Oh. Okay. Didn't we?
Why aren't you asleep like the other oysters?
Oh. Okay.
Oh, I'm so weary, but I can't sleep. I have a terrible ache in my mouth.
I think we talked to the oyster at one point, but then died to the five senses guys afterward and didn't redo the
What's
conversation.
wrong with your mouth?
No offense, but it hurts too much to talk.
That won't do anything for the little oyster.
Okay. It seemed like it'd be soothing. Would milk help?
Don't see how.
I don't know. Milk helps for like there used to be this idea that milk would help with like a tummy ache or something, right?
Sure.
That's what I was thinking of, but like I don't know about a sore throat. There's a frog.
Alexander sees no point in trying to talk to that stick in the swamp. A mushy swamp lies just off the path. It doesn't look like very good swimming.
Uh-oh. Frog to the swamp, probably a witch nearby.
Yeah, I saw the frog and I was thinking about King's Quest V and how I was sure I needed to catch a frog, but no. They're just for decoration. I guess just environmental storytelling.
Frogs and swamps, man.
Yeah.
Gotta have them.
Guess so. Let's continue chatting with the plants here.
Good day, tomato vines.
Good morning.
How did you manage to fall off the vine, Mr. Tomato?
What do you think? I'm old. I'm rotten. Yeah. Leave me alone.
If you say so.
After all, you're just gonna let me sit here and rot in this dry ground like everybody else, aren't you?
Why, I don't know. I suppose...
Ah, never mind. Just go away. Ah.
Hey, Silver. Good to see you.
Hello. Aren't you a bunch of fine-looking young plants?
Go Gaga.
Apparently, the baby's tears haven't learned to talk yet.
Silver and OK Retro Zone finished up Whispers of a Machine last night, which is a very cool game. Definitely worth checking out that VOD if that game sounds interesting to y'all. It's basically a modern, very similar like style to this game, like the later Sierra adventure games, but with like a lot of interesting new things on top of it. Like you have these different abilities you can use, and there's like lots of different branching paths and stuff like that. It's very cool.
So, okay, baby's tears are plants, and now that I've Googled this, I do remember seeing this in like catalogs for aquatic plants back when I kept an aquarium, but they don't look like cabbages. They're like very, very tiny little leaves that form dense mats.
Right. I think...
So I don't know why they've gone with this like Cabbage Patch ass bootleg merchandise looking design.
Yeah, I think they're probably just, going with the name and thinking, what if, different things were like actually like more literally what their name suggests.
Right.
I don't know.
Just find a plant with baby in its name.
We had some
exactly.
grapes back here too. Are those anything?
Grapes?
Those grapes look awfully sour.
Sour grapes.
Alexander gets closer to the sour grapes.
Why do I feel like I'm gonna die somehow?
Bucko.
Oh. Excuse me.
Don't poke, they'll unleash their wrath.
That was the first thought that came to mind too, that they are the grapes of wrath.
Those tomatoes are not quite ripe yet, and Alexander shouldn't pull them off the vine.
No.
Just stick them in the windowsill, it'll be fine.
Those tomatoes are not...
Can we pick up the rotten one?
Hey, what do you think you're doing there? Get your hands off me! Hey!
Alexander picks up rotten tomato and puts him away. One never knows when one will need a rotten tomato.
All right.
The old rotten tomato gives Alexander a mean look and grumbles sourly.
Can we talk to him while he's in our pocket?
You're ugly and you smell bad! Yeah! Put me down before I juice all over you!
Sir, that is rude and uncalled for.
Perhaps you'll need to review a movie.
Oh, our lettuce is melting. It's like a
Yeah.
little bit of a puddle now.
Alexander is carrying what little remains of a head of iceberg lettuce. The
I
lettuce is rapidly melting.
assume we can get more at any time. I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm trying to think if there's anything I can think of to try with what we have so far, but I can't really think of much. Let's use the rotten tomato on the
Alexander
wallflowers.
doesn't need to do anything to the garden wall.
Doesn't need to do anything to it. We want this hole though, right?
The wallflowers, overcome with shyness at Alexander's approach, cluster together and cover the hole in the wall. Alexander can't get it.
What's this chair? That's kind of interesting.
An elegant padded chair provides a cushy seat from which to enjoy the lively garden.
Okay.
Alexander would love to sit a spell, but he's a tad busy at the moment.
What's with these Sierra games and forbidding you from sitting down ever?
Did Roberto Williams finally take the feedback notes on that, and that's why you can sit down and look at magazines in Phantasmagoria?
Maybe. It's weird that there would be a chair there. There was a chair in this scene that you wouldn't expect to find a chair in,
Right.
but you can't sit in it.
But it's got to serve some purpose.
Right.
I'm sure.
What would that bump on the log want with a rotten tomato?
I don't know. I thought it might be funny.
Why would Alexander want to throw that at the stick in the swamp?
Oh, throw? I can throw things at the stick? Oh. We got a puddle now.
All that remains of the iceberg lettuce is a rapidly evaporating puddle of green water.
We have a puddle in our pocket? That's very interesting.
It won't be there for long, though, because
Why
it
would Alexander want to throw that at the stick in the swamp?
very clearly said that it was rapidly evaporating.
Yeah, I'm sure it will disappear. It's interesting that every time we come in now, the hole scurries behind the wallflowers.
Alexander replaces his watery lettuce with a freshly picked specimen.
Nice.
Ye gads! Is that cold?
Wonderful delivery on that line. Alright. I wasn't planning on throwing... Oh, that's interesting. If I click on the lettuce, I still get the puddle
Why
icon.
would Alexander want to throw that at the stick in the swamp?
Like, the game has suggested I might want to throw something at this stick.
Why would Alexander want to
Did you
throw
try the tomato already?
Yeah, of course.
Is the lettuce sentient too? That's a very good question.
It doesn't seem to be. I don't know why. I don't know why some things are sentient and others are not. I don't really know what else to do here. We've gained lots of items. I assume we're gonna have a lot of like go someplace, get an item, go to a different island, use the item there. Feels like, well, we could probably get to a different island and use the lettuce there, but clearly need to at least have a plan in mind so we can zip straight to where we're going. Anyways, let's explore some other places here and see what else we can discover. Magic map.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Oh, right. Would you be so kind as to get me another sheet of paper?
Sure.
I'd say 2 or 3.
Out of the printer.
Yeah, we need a new page for the Isle of the Beast, and We'll probably need a couple more at some point, I imagine.
Okay.
So I think we'll check out the Isle of the Beast just to kind of scope out the situation. Also, we now have a specific reason to go there, to get the Singing Stone to give back to the queens.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Oh.
So,
Just this little scene and this fascinating small creature.
There's an odd little creature dangling from that tree branch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's dangling, isn't it? Okay, thank you for the paper.
you thinking that creature might be a participle?
I kind of think so. Okay, let's save. It's been a little bit. Let's see if we can talk to it.
Hello, friend. Aren't you an odd-looking little fellow?
I'm not odd-looking, you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you could speak.
Speak not. Funny is, speech I am and nothing but.
What? Okay, it said speech I am and nothing but, so it's definitely a dangling participle. Why does participle? Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm missing a syllable every time.
I believe you are
Participle.
using the correct number of syllables.
Yeah, he was a little like he chose to talk to it. He called it friend, but then he was rude to it. It's just a curious sequence of decisions to make. Let's talk a little
You
more.
speak strangely, friend.
Strange, my speech is not. Eloquence I speak with.
But who are you? And why are you here?
Away I fly my home from. Lost I am therefore.
Oh, that's rough,
my
buddy.
name too? Can you guess not? It's what I do this branch with, and the way I speak of.
If you're lost, perhaps I can take you home.
Yeah.
Take me home too? Think not I do. No, you I do not.
Oh. Okay. So we gotta convince it to trust us?
Are you sure you don't want me to try to find your home?
Trust you I do not. Stay here I will.
What if we give it a sentence? Is this anything?
Alexander holds the sentence out to the creature.
This sentence seems in need of an ending. Perhaps you could finish it?
Where are you going? Where are you going? Know what I do? Where are you going to? Like you I do. Go I with you?
Hey!
Well, that was certainly interesting. It looks like Alexander now has a passenger.
Wonderful. All right. I would like to explore here more, but I think that's got to be a little uncomfortable, right? So let's go back to the Isle of Wonder.
Alexander reads the love poem.
Oh, what?
What was it when I looked at you? What power
I clicked on the wrong piece of paper. I saw what seemed like roughly the
Alexander
right shape of icon.
Map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Okay, I think we want to talk first.
Are you there, most venerable bookworm?
Do you have anything interesting yet?
I think I do.
A split infinitive.
Let me see what I have.
One end of the creature resembles a miniature dragon, while the other looks like a possum. What a strange-looking fellow.
Take me home to.
We're here, I hope.
I found this little fellow lost on another island.
Coming home I am too.
There you are, you naughty boy. I told you not to leave the island.
Glad I am seeing you too.
A most solemn celebration.
So, you found my dangling participle. I suppose I'll have to give you something. Let's see now. Was it a rare book you wanted?
Yes, sir.
Well, then none of these will do. They've been sitting in the sun far too long and must be well cooked by now. This one is far more rare. A delicious little tidbit.
Thanks.
Obviously, Alexander remembered us needing a rare book better than I did. It sounded familiar, but I couldn't remember what for. Specifically, the bookstore guy will give us a book of magic spells if we can trade for a rare book for it.
Alexander is carrying a rare book from the bookworm. The words in the binding are very faint. The something something riddle book.
Can we do anything with that?
Alexander opens the rare book and looks inside. The book contains riddles and has a page missing. Alexander
Interesting.
glances at a few of the conundrums, but finds himself more curious about the one that is missing. What was the riddle, he wonders? More importantly, what was the answer?
Love. This is definitely the same border that was on that corner we found. Okay. The other thing I hadn't considered is that the book itself might have some purpose. I don't know if we should hold on to this until we need that magic spell book or what. Like, my guess is that this is just telling us, along with the other scrap of paper, that love is going to be the answer to some riddle we come across at some point. But I don't know if holding onto the book is useful or not.
The book contains riddles and has a page missing. Alexander glances at a few of the conundrums, but finds himself more curious about the one that is missing. What was the riddle, he wonders? More importantly, what was the answer? The book contains riddles and has a page missing. What was the riddle?
Okay. Can't do anything with it. Thinking love is the answer is probably the cause of a lot of personal suffering in the world, though.
True.
Perhaps, yes. Come on. Okay. Where to now? I was briefly thinking we might want to go trade for that spellbook right away, but maybe we'll hold off on that a little bit. Let's go back to the Isle of the Beast and do a bit more exploring there.
There's no reason to use that on the distant foliage.
I was trying to use it on Alexander, but I guess he's just too small.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Oh! Did y'all see that little raccoon go in the stump?
No. I missed it. I will look on the stream though.
Nearby, the stump of a fallen tree still spreads its roots to the sea.
That was a cute little guy.
If the tree stump is hiding anything, it's only local fauna. There's no need to disturb some creature's nest.
Okay, we won't bother the raccoon then. I do wonder who's in charge of the Isle of the Beast. Oh. Is this bunny anything or just
A rabbit hops
decoration?
about rather fearlessly. It's probably never even seen a human.
Interesting assumption. I mean, surely there's other humans have been here, right? Like,
Which island is this?
this is the Isle of the Beast.
Okay.
So we have a very hot-looking pool of water here. This lamp is interesting because...
Old lamps for new.
Exactly, yes.
Old
An
lamps
old abandoned
for
hunter's lamp is
new.
hanging on one of the trees. Alexander wonders who might have hunted in these dense woods. A pond lies across the path. The water boils as if over some magical flame.
Boiling water.
What's that significant for?
How could we solve some boiling water we need to cross?
I don't know that a iceberg lettuce is gonna...
Why would you think that? It's literal ice.
Right, I'm just saying, like, if you put an ice cube in a pot of boiling water, it doesn't do much to lower the temperature of the boiling.
There's a lot of them, though. So the tomato.
I'm just saying, you drop an ice cube in a pot of boiling water, you're still gonna have a pot of very hot water.
I mean, it'll cool down and not kill us, though, right? I think that's my theory.
Maybe.
I'm gonna say.
I'm just gonna say that the human body will sustain burns at lower than boiling temperatures.
Sure. We're gonna first throw the tomato in. I assume it won't actually let us.
What are you, nuts? Don't put me in that soup bowl of a pond, you crazy human!
Okay.
Told you.
And then we're just gonna see what happens if we walk in it.
Alexander decides to brave the boiling pond. And soon realizes a deep sympathy for soup vegetables as he learns the true meaning of being in a stew.
Did he just melt? Is that what happened there?
I think so.
Tickets only. Next.
It looks like Alexander's in a bit of a stew.
Ha ha ha.
Okay. Back to this. Finish drawing first, and then I'm gonna go grab a fresh iceberg lettuce. I assume ours is long gone. Yeah. I can't believe you don't think that my smart idea would work.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not, I'm just saying it's not very logical. It's not a very big head of iceberg lettuce, and it's a rather large boiling pond.
That's true. I wonder if Alexander and Silver the Paladin would have met up, since it seems they were both in Hades at the same time. Very good question. Speaking of, Silver, you hadn't shown up yet when I was looking through this magazine. I did not realize that they did actual clay animation for Quest for Glory. I am curious to read this article later, but I thought you'd be interested. If you are interested in reading it, I could snap some photos of it.
Somebody in the neighborhood's doing some hammering, I think.
Aren't they always, though?
That's true. Did they Donkey Kong Country it?
Just write down that the lamp is here. And dangling participle. Okay, lettuce time.
I wouldn't call it neighbor beef. More just an observation.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Yeah, honestly,
Just
most neighbor noises don't bother me too much. It's nothing compared to the neighbor noises of living in an apartment.
yeah,
for
shared
several
wall
years.
neighbor noises were far more vexing.
Never woken up in the middle of the night to sounds of a baby crying in the room underneath me.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Never have to wash dishes while someone has a screaming fight in the other apartment.
Oh, jeez. I'm wondering
Alexander picks a
How-
head of iceberg lettuce.
how long the lettuce lasts. Is it like a real world timer?
I would think.
Ye gads, it's that cold.
I would think so also.
Like I can't think of what other way they would do it
Yeah.
unless it was like, I don't know, actions taken, but then how do you define an action?
Like going to another screen
Sure.
or, doing an action. clicking an icon on an object, basically. But yeah, I
counting screens
suspect it is
travel
actually
Map doesn't.
time. Misclicked there.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
It could be screens travel. That would make sense too.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
I honestly have no idea if this will actually work. Like, to me, it makes sense in Sierra game logic, but Maybe Unsecret Crush is right.
Hoping to cool down the boiling pond, Alexander throws in a head of iceberg lettuce. The pond's water slowly stops boiling, cooled by the ice. It still looks hot, but bearable.
I mean, I'm not surprised that that was the solution.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
So...
You would still risk
The
scalding.
enchanted pond has been cooled by the iceberg lettuce. Though still hot, it is no longer boiling.
Okay. So I don't think it's going to kill us anymore.
Yeah,
Alexander
Silver...
decides to brave the steaming pond.
Silver has a point that it is technically enchanted iceberg lettuce.
Ouch! Ow! Ooh, 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 ouch!
The pond is no longer boiling, but it's hardly bathwater.
However, being enchanted didn't keep the ice... Like, it wasn't like the ice was staying ice especially long. Like, there was a point made of describing it as rapidly melting.
Right.
I'll stop belaboring the point about the ice now.
I don't trust a magic-looking lamp, so that's why I saved.
That's completely fair. Alexander run back and forth
takes
across the
old
water.
hunter's lamp from the tree. Alexander is carrying an old, battered hunter's lamp. The lamp is empty.
No genie?
Rub it, though.
Alexander rubs the lamp, but nothing happens.
Okay. But we could trade it.
Old lamps for new.
I did, like... That last game... I don't know if this game is as mean as the last game. Like, the last game, there were lots of, like... You could use an item for multiple things, but if you pick the wrong one, whoops! Right. I don't know... you know, again, we have a use for this lamp. We can trade it and get another lamp. I don't know if that's even useful, but it's a thing we can do. I don't know if we should hold on to this one for a little bit or just go ahead and do that and see where it gets us. I'm inclined to go ahead and do it, though, because in this case, at least, unlike the riddle book, it doesn't seem useful as it is. But before we do that, let's continue exploring.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
As Alexander continues
Seems like you
down
want
the
to see
path,
what else is around.
He gets the strange feeling that he's being watched.
Come on over here and see what I'm doing with these flowers. Never mind that stone fella on top of the gate. He won't hurt you any. He's just there to scare you.
Who's speaking?
This person here in the garden.
I see. He was blending in with the shrubbery when he wasn't moving.
Now, I don't think I would have been too worried about some statues above the gate initially.
Until they were called out.
Come on through, I say. I can show you a path through the forest.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
Oh yeah, I totally just remembered the very friendly young man who dove into the water and invited you to join him.
Oh right.
Would we be tricked more than once in a similar fashion? His eyes twinkled. Uh-oh. Mischievously, you might say?
Oh.
Oh?
Look, there's no point in hanging out here all day. I can show you the wondrous castle that lies in the middle of the island. Don't be so timid.
Oh, okay. I saw the twinkle that time.
I missed it again. The eye twinkle, though, reminded me of the... I don't know if it was ever confirmed that it was a genie. The guy that got drunk on mints. Was that for sure a genie? It's a very genie-looking dude to me.
I don't know that was ever
Okay.
suggested. He didn't poof away or anything like that. He just had on a funny hat.
Well, we'll just see about that.
Huh.
That's odd. The gardener just disappeared.
I didn't catch what he said.
He said, "You're not going to listen to me, huh? We'll just see about that."
Huh.
Don't know if they said he was a genie, but he did keep calling the vizier master while being drunk. Yeah, okay. Again, I have played this game before, so it's possible I'm just like, remembering something as well.
Maybe he's Santa. Doesn't Santa have a twinkle in his eye? And we missed out on making a new friend.
Before the eye twinkle was mentioned, I was wondering, like, is this the same person as the swimming guy, just using a magical disguise? And then the eye twinkling made me realize, they're all the same genie or whoever that guy is.
Did the mint drunk guy have a twinkling eye?
Yeah, he totally did.
Interesting. I did not catch that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like I feel like they tried to draw your attention to it during the scene with the vizier. The old man in the shop also had that gold twinkle. Yeah, like I think they pointed that out in the scene with the vizier to make it clear that the old man in the shop was the same guy that you were seeing in that scene.
I wouldn't have thought that the guy drunk on mints was a genie, but now that you have laid out all of this evidence, I must reconsider my assumption that he was just a normal weird man.
So eventually I'll finish drawing this, and then we'll investigate this gate situation.
A stone archer sits atop the lintel of the gate like a silent guardian. His stone bow is tightly drawn and fitted with a single stone arrow.
It doesn't sound menacing at all.
Yeah, have you saved recently?
Not since we got the lamp, which wasn't that long ago, but this archer. Okay, can we talk?
Look here, Archer. Do you mind if I pass?
The archer retains his stony silence.
It's a very good little floppy disk icon. Oh, it's a little bunny. It's adorable. I mean, we gotta see what happens here, right? Okay, it is following us. So, this is definitely gonna super murder us.
What's the other statue?
I mean, it looks like it's kind of pointing a spear downward.
Okay.
It's less immediately
The
menacing.
statue to the left of the gate shows a man kneeling down with his spear as though waiting for a target.
Yeah, okay.
Stone archer atop the gate released his arrow. Alexander is pierced to the heart.
That's rough, buddy.
Only. Next.
That move was slightly erroneous.
So, do we need a shield or something? Or, I guess, we could potentially get a book of magic spells now, so that, who knows what that could do for us. Maybe it'll miss. You can't take the accuracy of a stone archer for granted. What? I can't tell if that's just a stone on the ground or if it's...
A brick lies in the grass. It must have come from the old brick wall.
Okay.
Never know when you...
Oh, yeah, it looks like there's a brick missing up here. Oh!
Alexander picks up the brick.
Oh?
It's only got one arrow.
Uh-huh.
So we can trick it into using its arrow.
Huh. How you gonna do that?
I mean,
You
maybe it's
threw
got a pressure plate? I don't know. We got a brick here.
Sure.
Do another save.
Small speckles of sand stand out against the otherwise gray brick. Alexander sees no use for that item there.
Really?
Throwing the brick at the stone archer might scratch his marble, but it won't stop the archer's vigilant watch over the path. The path, like destiny, cannot be altered.
Eh?
What? That's a very interesting thing to say.
The path, like destiny, cannot be altered.
I guess I'm wrong.
With the gardener gone,
Seemed like a good
Alexander
idea.
can see that the garden plot is hardly more than a fresh patch of dirt.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Flowering rose hedges grow on either side of the path winding north.
Like my next best guess, I can't remember if I said this already, is like a shield or something. Or again, a magic spell. Alright, I think we'll have to come back to this. Because I can't think of any good solution. Hopefully this... Hopefully this pond stays cooled off. So we have a lamp we can trade, we have a book we can trade. So I guess we'll go back to the Isle of the Crown. And we can at least try doing the trade, and if we're worried this isn't useful right now, and maybe we want to hold on to the original item a bit longer, I can restore.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
We at least check out what options we have.
You've been going for a little over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Yes, I was going to get there soon.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Yeah, the yelps were pretty funny.
Yes. All right, the Nightingale. We played the Mechanical Nightingale, and it seemed like, I think it was up higher before and it came down to a lower branch?
Right. And seemed like it was waiting for something.
Right.
Alexander is carrying an unusually large black feather.
Is that anything? You want a feather?
Alexander shows the object to the bird, hoping to interest her. The little bird does not appear to be interested in that.
I was honestly surprised it let us even do anything there. Do you want a stinky flower?
Alexander
Oh, I
shows
see.
the object to the bird, hoping to interest her. The nightingale doesn't like the smell of that flower at all.
He's just holding up like a little gray lump that is whatever object you happen to be using.
Alexander shows the object to the bird, hoping to interest her. The little bird just ruffles her feathers at the sight of that large, brightly colored scarf.
Okay. Oh no! The old lamp's for new! But...
Does time pass in this game?
Clearly! I kind of wonder if he's intentionally gone as soon as you get a lamp. That's my guess.
But why though?
I don't know.
The man seems busy with his chores and isn't interested in Alexander.
Okay. Let's head inside the bookshop.
Hello. I will be right up.
Interesting.
Now, what can I do for you?
Who's that in the chair?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Good day, sir. Is there anything you can tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I'm sorry, but I have no time for idle conversation. I'm too worried about the princess.
That voice sounds familiar. Okay. I'm gonna do a save here. I'm a little nervous to just like leave the game running, but we'll do a save just in case anything happens while I'm gone. And we'll enjoy this playful bookstore atmosphere while we take a quick break, and we'll be back in a few minutes, y'all. this one. Yes. Hello. Edwin was the Mad Hatter in Disney's Alice Animation and Uncle Albert and Mary Poppins. Thank you for that info, 67. I agree. It's just probably the Mad Hatter that is why the voice sounds so familiar. Let's chat some more.
Excuse me again, sir. You mentioned the princess.
I told you I'm not interested in talking to strangers.
Yeah, that's totally it. Not interested in talking to strangers.
How fare you, merchant?
Well, I would be better if I could only finish my manuscript. I am a budding novelist, you know.
Oh.
How fare you, merchant?
Business could be better. Too many people are losing interest in reading these days. It is a sign of the times.
If only you could prove you were a Prince of Daventry. That ring. I don't know how we're going to get that ring back.
I forget what happened to the ring.
We traded it for the magic map. And he said he'd keep it around for a few days.
You could trade the map back and get it back, right?
I don't know if that's an option, but we need the map for sure at this point. I'm so worried we're gonna miss a whole bunch in this game, but I guess that's just video games for you.
That's video games.
Book, and I thought of your offer.
Very interesting. Oh, it is a wonderful riddle book. Riddles are much more marketable than spells these days.
That's right.
I guess people believe more in mirth than in magic. Here is the spell book you wanted, and a fair trade it is, I must say. Enjoy it.
I certainly hope so. We shall see how rusty my spellcasting truly is.
Roberta did say to be careful. Yes. Let's see what we got here. I think it's
Alexander is carrying a book from the bookshop. The cover says, "Ye Old Spell Book."
Magic paint spell. 1 cup swamp ooze. River Styx water. 1 black horse feather. Ooh, is that a horse feather we have? Is that possible?
Maybe.
We don't know what kind of feather it is. It's large and black.
Yeah, the largeness of it was emphasized. So coming off of perhaps the wings of a black Pegasus makes sense.
We do have a swamp. So presumably if we have a cup, we could get some swamp ooze from there. I think the only container we have right now is the milkweed container. I don't know if it's possible to drink the milk or otherwise use the milk and then use that as a container, or if we have to find a different container. And then River Styx water might be a little tricky, but we have died a lot, so I don't know. Maybe we can figure it out. Add Styx water to swamp ooze and cup. Stir with horse feather. Apply to blank surface with artist's brush. Okay. Paintbrush is a thing we can get from the shop next door. Speak incantation over painting to materialize. Okay, so we can paint something and then make it real? Magic paint, black as ink, bring to life what I think, make it real what I draw, according to this spoken law. Oh, and this has changed to a cast icon, so I guess we need to come in here and click on that to cast the spell. Okay, we do have more pages.
This is the first page.
Make rain spell. Few drops salt water not from the sea. 1 vial sacred water and falling water. First mix salt and sacred waters in a teapot, then add falling water. Speak incantation over teapot to enchant. Heat to boiling to activate. Clouds of thunder, shafts of light, come and sup with me tonight. Waters 3, have I for tea. Brew a tempest now for me. What a wonderful incantation. Charming a creature of the night spell. One skull full of hot oak embers, a normal thing to have. A bit of sulfur, brimstone. One strand of a pure-hearted maiden's hair. Add hair and brimstone to skull of embers. In presence of creature, speak incantation over spell. Creature of night, to me succumb. Fire and brimstone, leave thee numb. Purity bind thee like a chain. To do whate'er I now ordain. Yikes.
That one sounds like it might be summoning an elder god.
Maybe.
Which is the last page.
Okay.
6-7 notes in the chat. Don't summon any elder gods.
I mean, I'll do my best.
It's a bad time.
So we're gonna make ourselves a little shopping list here.
I gotta say, the narrator voice saying this is the first page and this is the last page really just solidifies my feeling that this is literally the voice from a storybook on tape.
As mentioned, this is Admiral Udina from Mass Effect.
No kidding.
Ambassador Udina? Yeah, Ambassador. I don't know what other things he has done.
Like,
that was the one that stood out to me the most.
It's less this specific voice actor and more just the character
it's definitely
of the
that
reading.
vibe.
It's like, turn the page when you hear the chimes.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Also, related to that, I know the guy that is the Mass Effect Codex voice is also somewhere in this game. I can't remember what role. I think there's a third Mass Effect actor in this game also, but I can't remember anything about that one.
I know the person who plays Dr. Chakwas comes up in Gabriel Knight 3.
Yes. Okay. I missed an H there. Close enough.
Slam dunk in the tissue.
Oh,
in
nice.
The wastebasket. No one could see that, and it was a shame.
Should have a tissue cam with a buffer on it so we can get the instant replay whenever you make a basket. Make rain spell. Few drops salt water not from the sea. That's interesting.
From the baby's tears, perhaps?
Like, that's a good bet. Like, tears was my first thought there. Not from sea. Vial of sacred water.
Excuse me.
And falling water. So, like, I guess from a waterfall or something? Shepard from Mass Effect's voice was Katrina from Quest for Glory 4. Yes, that is also correct. Charming a creature of the night spell. We need one skull full of hot oak embers, and that's interesting that's just a single item. Like, if you have a normal skull, can you put hot oak embers in it? Is that okay, or do you need to find one that's already got the embers in it? Skull full of hot oak. Also, like, if the embers have cooled off, can you heat them up? A bit of sulfur.
I feel like by nature, if they are embers, they must be hot. Because I feel like embers.
Okay,
like if
it'd
weren't
just
hot,
be ash.
Right, if they weren't hot, they would just be ashes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Don't put any stock into me bringing in real life, laws of physics and thermodynamics and whatnot, given the whole, iceberg lettuce in the boiling pond thing.
Where else do you put your hot oak embers? Yeah, that's fair. Good place to keep them. All right.
The skull is insulating or whatever.
We have our shopping list. We might have a black horse feather, so we'll put a question mark there. I don't think we have anything else at this point. Certainly don't have any skulls. Oh, we got a second inventory screen now.
Oh. Don't forget about your grumpy tomato.
Yeah. I'm gonna look now that there's not a guy standing here.
Right now, Alexander is too involved with the journey he's on to take time to read about the journeys of others.
Okay. I guess we did look at that at some point. All right, let's get out of here. I'm so bummed out about the lamp situation. I don't know what to do about that. We need a strand of a pure maiden's hair, and I don't know. I don't know if this is a pure maiden, but it's the first person I thought of.
Yeah, she's certainly a Cinderella type.
Right.
Then start polishing the silverware. Do I have to tell you everything?
I don't know how we're gonna get her hair though.
Right away.
Can always ask.
Alexander is greeted with silence. Alexander can't see any way to hold a conversation with that.
Okay, I missed.
Alexander can't see any way to hold a conversation with that.
Honestly, don't know if I clicked on her the first time or not. But I'm not sure there's really an opportunity to talk to her in that scenario.
Can you go up to the door?
I've tried opening the gate, and that doesn't get us anywhere.
Alexander doesn't want to intrude on private property unless he's been invited.
Okay.
So I guess we got to get invited somehow? I don't know how to accomplish that. Do you think it was a red herring so we could just have a lamp for later? Could be. I feel like there's got to be some. My feeling is that it's just a tease that he's gone now, and like maybe he'll show up later or something. Come on. There we go. Okay, so the ferryman's out. And now he's gone. I don't know if he's worth talking to again. We kind of talked to Xeroth at one point, but it's possible now that we've done more things. I'm not really sure what to do here. Let's review our inventory.
The glass bottle is full of milk. How strange for a plant to produce not only milk, but a container to go with it.
Let's see if we can drink the milk.
Alexander drinks the milk and discards the bottle. Yum.
What? No!
Why would you do that, son?
We wanted the bottle to put swamp ooze in.
Also, discarded it where? That's littering.
Yeah, what?
Where were you born? A barn? It's a pigsty back here. Yeah, all this stuff you got. What do you want to carry all this trash around for?
Hey, it's not EcoQuest. I mean, yeah, but I think he could be more considerate.
Give a hoot, don't pollute.
Exactly.
Alexander rubs the lamp, but nothing happens.
I don't know what to do with any of this stuff.
Small speckles of sand stand out against the otherwise gray brick.
The scarf, I can't help but think that could be useful when we encounter the Minotaur. I guess we'll go talk to this guy. Can't hurt. Probably.
Oh, it's you. Come on in.
This guy's great.
How goes it, Alexander?
What else can you tell me about the land?
The Isle of the Beast is pretty, but unfortunately, you can't get very far onto the island.
Yeah, we learned that.
What else can you tell me about the land?
The inhabitants of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain are the most gorgeous creatures you'll ever see. If you ever get to see them, that is.
We should go back there. We haven't spent much time on there.
Back
What
where
else
I missed
can you tell me about the land?
the place.
The Castle of the Crown sure is a beauty. She's the finest palace ever built, I'll warrant.
The Sacred Mountain, which is where we went to one screen there, and I decided we'd come back to that later. But there's like a puzzle on a cliff wall, and I believe we will have a series of cliff wall puzzles to get past.
Right.
Well, thanks again for your hospitality.
You're always welcome, Alexander. Come back anytime.
Such a nice guy. I guess we can use the map here, actually. It should work.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Okay. I got my guidebook to the Land of the Green Isles open here, and I was trying to remember where we left off there. I think I read this section on the Isle of the Sacred Mountain already, but then I did not read Part 5, The Ancient Ones, which I think starts to get into the sort of copy protection puzzle stuff that we're about to encounter here. So let's go ahead and look that over. Part 5, The Ancient Ones. The Ancient Ones' culture inhabited the Isle of the Sacred Mountain perhaps as much as 1,000 years ago. At that time, it is likely that there was no kingdom and that the Ancient Ones existed alone in the sea, since no similarly aged records exist on any other island. The Ancient Ones had an advanced, mysterious culture. Their writings had been discovered on ancient tablets and scrolls buried beneath the current Winged Ones city, and in the ancient catacombs on the Isle of the Sacred Mountain. It is commonly believed that they possessed knowledge and mechanical acuity for surpassing anything that exists today. This belief is based on a few remaining artifacts, such as their mysterious labyrinthine catacombs and the writings on the island's cliffs. I knew there were catacombs in this game, but I kind of assumed that was part of, like I know there's a Minotaur, because, like, he's on the cover, right? And I figured that was over on the Isle of the Beast. Anyways, the artifacts of the Ancient Ones are fiercely guarded by the Winged Ones and are studied by scholars of that race who spend their whole lives trying to unravel their mysteries. What is known about them derives from these delicate and treasured written records. The Ancient Ones were believers in the power of language. They were fond of saying, "A master of languages will soar." This presumably refers to the intellectual heights rather than physical ones, but who can say? It is also known that they were great lovers of symbols and had a complex theology which seemed to worship all things aerial, though only fragments of their belief system are understood today. The Ancient Ones gave meaning to every creature, every color, every element and mineral. In addition, they studied the emotional states of being. Every emotion, like every creature, color, and element, ranked high or low on their theological scale, the lowest being base or primitive and the highest being pure. At the top of the scale were the sacred four: the emotion tranquility, the color azure, the creature caterpillar, and the element air. The color azure and the element air are obvious allusions to the sky. Similarly, tranquility is reminiscent of the heavens above. The caterpillar is the one surprise. In their reasoning, however, it makes perfect sense. After all, there are birds aplenty in the skies, but what glory is it to fly when one is born with wings? Is it not more glorious still to be born to crawl upon the ground and build one's own wings? It is a matter of much debate whether or not the ancient ones themselves possess the power of flight. Despite their theology, the remains of the ancient ones do not bear the wings that distinguish the Isle of the Sacred Mountain's current inhabitants. The winged ones firmly believe that the ancient ones flew without wings, thus proving themselves superior even to the winged ones themselves. Some scholars on the Isle of the Crown, however, believe that the ancient ones could not fly, and that their obsessive interest in flight and their secret knowledge enabled them to create a winged race, the descendants of whom are the winged ones. But such things we will never know for certain, for true understanding was buried along with the last of that long-dead race. I spent some time studying the language and culture of the ancient ones, and in the interest of antiquity, I set forth here as much as is understood of their works. The Ancient Ones' alphabet. The alphabet of the Ancient Ones consists of graphic symbols. It is clear that their language and ours has the same root, for the writings are directly translatable by simply replacing the appropriate letter of our alphabet for its corresponding symbol in theirs. It is probable that the Ancient Ones spoke in our language and used these symbols in their writings as a code for secrecy or for their ceremonial beauty. Or perhaps our own letters for the spoken language evolved as shorthand notations for the complex symbols used by the Ancient Ones. In any case, there are 26 primary symbols in their alphabet. There are other minor symbols, but those were only used for accent and as representations of complex philosophical ideals and are not included here. In addition to their alphabetical functions, each symbol also represents an emotion, a color, a creature, and a natural or metaphysical element. So I won't bother to read all of these, but just some examples here. We have A, the symbol represents harmony, the cat, the color sienna, and earth. So I believe these are used to solve a bunch of puzzles on these cliffs. I'm not sure how many of them they're relevant to. We do have a bit more about the logic cliffs, which I think is what we're at here, so we'll read that too. One of the most intriguing artifacts left by the Ancient Ones are the logic cliffs. The cliffs are so named from a series of riddles written on the face of the cliffs, leading from the beach of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain to the Winged One's city. Chiseled painstakingly into solid rock, the viewer must question what purpose the words serve. From the ancient scroll that references the cliffs, it can be determined that the riddles on the cliffs were part of an elaborate mechanism designed to protect those who dwelt on the top of the cliffs from undesirables that might arrive from the sea below. The mechanism may have served as some sort of calling device designed to alert those at the top of the cliffs that a brother required admittance, or perhaps led to secret chambers within the rock itself. Whatever the cliff's purpose was, it was obviously built to admit only those indoctrinated into the secrets of the Ancient One's culture, and for that reason is, alas, yet unsolved by those who live today. The following translations from the Cliffs of Logic scroll may help the reader understand the mystique that surrounds this artifact. The first challenge: only those of pure heart will be able to rise the Cliffs of Logic. The third challenge: the stones of stealth are associated with this riddle. 4 men standing in a row, third from the left and down you go, the rest in order move you on, the youngest, the oldest, and the second son. The fifth challenge: only those of the highest order may ascend the Cliffs of Logic. And next we have a section about the catacombs, which I don't think we'll read until we get to that. We also have a bit about the Isle of the Beast. Since we've already been there, I guess we'll go ahead and read that now. It's pretty short. The Isle of the Beast long ago was called the Isle of the Forest. It was a place of woodlands, sparkling ponds, and prolific wildlife. It was used as a playground favored for jaunty hunts in the royal family and other local sportsmen, and for that reason was left uninhabited. The scenes of this treasured diversion on that beautiful island still decorate local tapestries and paintings. One night, as the story goes, residents of other islands could see magical lights around the Isle of the Forest. The next day, the king, then King Elifim, led his guards over to the island to investigate, and of course to hunt if all proved well. They found the island much changed. The forest had grown so dense overnight as to prove impenetrable save by a single path blocked by mysterious obstacles. And most mysteriously of all, the heart-rending cries of some mighty wild beast echoed on and on throughout the forest. It is said that several guards fell into madness immediately at the sound of that, and that King Elifim himself was haunted to the end of his days by the echo of those cries. Yikes. Since that time, the island has taken its new name and has remained unpenetrated and undisturbed in the midst of the kingdom's teeming life. Okay. Truly masters in the art of copy protection, indeed. So let's take a look at this inscription again.
There appears to be something etched into the face of the cliff. Alexander decides to get closer.
Okay. It says, ignorance kills, wisdom elevates. And then our guidebook, it said, the following translation from the Cliffs of the Logic Scroll may help the reader understand the mystique that surrounds this artifact. And then it starts off with the first challenge, only those pure of heart will be able to rise the Cliffs of Logic. So I think this is just pointing out that we need to click the letters R-I-S-E.
Huge blocks of stone erupt from the granite cliffs. Alexander stares with wonder. That's quite a way to welcome a guest, if indeed it is a welcome.
I don't know about that. Certainly dramatic, though.
Indeed.
We should save. Oh no! We've run out of space for save games.
Uh-oh.
Looks like we have a kind of small limit here. Okay. Cliffs. Should have clicked the word elevator. Now you're thinking. Surprise, it's more cliff. So the guidebook doesn't have anything about the second challenge.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
A master of languages will blank blank blank. That phrase sounds familiar. And it's got all these symbols, which I believe are the symbols that just translate to the alphabet. Master of languages will blank. 4-letter word. If only I could search this PDF. Oh, okay. The ancient ones were believers in the power of language. They were fond of saying, "A master of languages will soar." Oh, I can't.
Nothing happens.
Okay, good. I was just gonna do another quick save. If I screw up, I don't want to have to redo the climbing. If I can help it.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
Okay, S is... Where is it? There it is, this little guy. O is this one. A is, I think, this one. And R is a kind of bird-looking thing. This one.
The stone beneath Alexander's feet trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
If you screw this up, you'll be sore, all right. Yeah, I'm curious, like, I feel like they must have been somewhat less worried about copy protection with this. Just because, like, you could easily just write down the symbols or something. Like, you know, in King's Quest 4, we always had to, like, look up a specific word of a certain paragraph. So, like, you know, there you'd have to copy the whole manual, or at least a significant amount of information. Maybe these get more complex as we go up, though. Should I just keep overwrite? I hate running out of saves, because then I gotta, like, spend a lot of time thinking about whether I should overwrite the last save I did, or... Don't want to restore, that's for sure. I guess we'll do another one. We'll alternate between two files here. Something like that. Why can't you do another directory? That's a good question. Can I do that? The change directory button is disabled. It's possible that if I switch to... I kind of like using these native save dialogues. I think if we used the scum VM save dialogue, we would have less limitations to deal with. But in this, we can't change the directory, unfortunately. Obviously, I could go, like, move files around, but we're not going to fuss with that right now.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. It's just 3 circles. This one has a bunch of information in the manual. The third challenge, the stones of stealth, are associated with this riddle. 4 men standing in a row. So there's our 4 guys. Third from the left, and down you go. So I assume this one will kill us. I'm pointing at the screen. This one...
I do that all the time, try to point at the screen.
Yeah. The rest in order move you on. The youngest, the oldest, and the second son. The youngest, the oldest, and the second son. Okay. So... so we don't want to press this one ever. I think youngest here, and then oldest, and then second son. Okay. here's the question. You have a family. We're going to assume these are all children since we don't have any information otherwise. If you have 4 children, is the second son, I guess it'd be the second born, right? So this must be the oldest. If the second son... Does this make sense, or do I need to explain better? Does this make sense to you?
I am...
Or are you not paying attention?
I am zonked out.
Okay.
I am not paying attention. I'm sorry.
Ooh, depends on if they have daughters. That's a great point.
I'm listening now. If you want to explain it again.
Like, third from the left and down you go. So we know this one is bad news.
Okay.
In fact, let's find out what happens when we die this way.
4 plain stone buttons have been carved into the cliffs. One may need to read about the logic cliffs in the guidebook to the land of the Green Isles in order to understand these stones.
Thanks for the tip. So we don't want to press this one that my hand is over.
Okay.
We have third from the left and down you go. The rest in order move you on. The youngest, the oldest, and second son. Mm-hmm. So youngest, oldest, or we could have youngest, oldest.
Right.
Again, I'm pointing at the screen. Like, which is which. Mm-hmm. But if the second son is one we need to press, then that's got to be this one, right?
Third from the left and down you go is explicitly
right.
A clue? Okay.
So this has to be the second son. Mm-hmm. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
If this is the second son, mm-hmm. then this would be the oldest, right?
Probably.
I mean, it says they're... Well... I'm assuming they're in order. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just standing in a row. I guess... I'm just going to assume they're in order from oldest to youngest. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, there's no way to solve this, I don't think.
Right.
So I'm inclined to do youngest, oldest, and then second son. Mm-hmm. So 4, 1, 2. Mm-hmm.
Seems...
But let's die first.
Alexander gets the feeling that was the wrong button.
Oops.
Did you redeem that before I died? Does that count, or do I need to die again?
I was trying to redeem it fast enough. I'm going to go ahead and count it as completed.
Find a guide to keep your health.
Whenever you...
Thanks for the tip. Whenever
you decide on your own that you are going to take an action that will probably result in your death, I'm like, oh, I have all these points.
Okay. Let's try this
Alexander
for real now.
The strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
So, youngest, oldest,
the
second
stone
son.
Beneath Alexander's feet trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
I was gonna say that. Why did you have to phrase it like that?
All right, we're clicking. Oh.
Eh? What happened?
He, like, lost his balance, I guess? Because I didn't do anything for a second? I was trying to figure out if a guidebook made it clear how many puzzles total we have to deal with. It mentions a 5th puzzle. I'm guessing that means there's 5 total. But
sure.
Alexander.
So dramatic.
Okay. Let's do another save. I'm just gonna keep going on Cliff's 2 file here.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
So this is our fourth challenge, and this one does not have a hint in the book. Sacred 4. Okay. We did have, separately from the clues, the information to solve this puzzle. The Sacred 4 are... the emotion tranquility, the color azure, the creature caterpillar, and the element air. And then each element corresponds to, or each letter, corresponds to an emotion, an animal, a color, and an element.
Okay.
So tranquility is this one here. I don't know if these need to be done in a particular order, but I'm going to do them in the order the guidebook first lists them. So tranquility, azure, caterpillar, air. I just looked through them all, and I guess I missed it somewhere. They're written in a way that makes it hard to, like, quickly scan through them all.
Right.
Oh, here it is. The letter O, which is this little face, mustache face. I think caterpillar was next. Yep. Yeah, like each... They're not written in the same... Like, some of them list an emotion first. Some of them list... There's caterpillar. Or maybe they are in the same order. Just, it's the line breaks. So things end up in different places.
Right.
Caterpillar is Q, which is like some step-looking things. And the element air. Which is sort of a weird N. Where's that weird N? There it is.
The stone beneath Alexander's feet trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
Yeah, I'm sure it was done on purpose. Last puzzle? Question mark? Will I run out of space on this map? Even bigger question mark. Alexander? Please be more careful. What did I just tell you? Yeah, I do enjoy the sound effects here, but the steps and the little lost my balance sound. Okay. Let's do another save.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
Okay. Yeah, this is another super easy one. It says, "All silent cry the noble boulders." And then we have in the guidebook for the fifth challenge, only those of the highest order may ascend the cliffs of logic. So we have A, S, C, E, and D. Yeah, seems pretty straightforward. up.
The stone beneath Alexander's feet trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
Yeah, sometimes it does look like he's floating a little bit above the stone. Just the top blends in with the background in some spots.
New friend?
Alexander finds himself finally
Friend?
at the top of the cliffs. Exhausted, he steps over the lip of the plateau and stands.
This person looks evil. I think this is the same evil person.
The trickster.
Yeah. Just, it's the eyes. They haven't
Right.
twinkled yet, but they look suspicious.
Why do you make such an effort to climb the cliffs, young man? The winged ones who live on this island have the power of flight.
Silver, thank you so much for those gift subs. I appreciate that very
If
much.
you'd only eat a berry from this magical flying nightshade bush.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
That sounds very real. What? Oh, they're demonstrating the flying power,
Yeah.
I think.
The sweet berries will make you float like a petal on the wind. Try some.
I mean, who can argue? Let's dig in.
All right. I'll try some of your berries.
Victory gifts.
Oh,
Thanks
goody.
again, Silver.
Eat quickly, dear boy, and I'll show you the way to the Lord and Lady of this isle.
Great.
What?
Slightly bitter, pretty one.
Who could have foreseen this?
Oh, no.
Tickets only. Next.
And then there's some land I have for sale in the death bogs of Tamir.
Okay.
Why do you make such an effort to climb the cliffs, young man? The winged ones who live on this island have the power of flight. You could have it too, if you'd only eat a berry from this magical flying nightshade bush.
It's a very enticing door in the side of the mountain here.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that'll take us to the catacombs we've heard about.
Float like a petal on the wind. Try some.
Nightshade. Was that one of our spell items?
I do not recall.
I feel like Nightshade has come up.
Come, stranger, trust me. Think of what I'm offering you.
Oop.
Young man, you offend me. I try to help you and you insist on being rude. All right then, stay tied to the ground like a load of lead. See if I care. You human.
How odd. The old woman just disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Perhaps those berries are even more powerful than she led Alexander to believe.
Perhaps. So now that she's gone, can we like...
Berries grow only at the top of the bush, as though straining towards the sun.
Can we take one normally without eating one, is my question.
That's a good question.
Alexander decides to try some of the black berries on the plant.
I just want to take
Bitter
it.
taste fills his mouth. His stomach convulses in pain.
That's a tummy
As the
no-no.
poison takes effect, Alexander is left wondering if this is the kind of flying the old lady meant.
Okay.
A bush with dark, shiny leaves grows against the east cliff wall. The old woman identified it as nightshade. A small cluster of black berries tops the bush.
Okay. There was no nightshade in the...
I didn't think it sounded very familiar.
Huge doors are set into the solid rock of the mountain.
How do we open those? Can we just open them? Of course not.
The huge doors are locked tight. Somebody obviously wants to keep something out or something in.
Dun dun dun.
I guess we'll continue on this way. No? Yes? Oh!
Look, an intruder! Hold! How did you get up here, human?
Climbing?
Climbed the cliffs.
That is not possible. No one has solved the cliffs of logic in several centuries. And if the cliffs were to be solved, it would certainly not be by a human.
Oh.
I didn't mean to trespass. I only wanted to visit this beautiful island.
I feel like we did a little.
No visitors have been welcome on the Isle of the Sacred Mountain in years. Not since the Red and White Queens had spies in the guise of friendly visitors steal our island's sacred golden fleece.
Oh.
But we will not display such foolish trust again. You will have to answer to Lord Azure and Lady Ariel. They will determine what will be done with you. I can assure you, it will not be pleasant.
We do like to meet the locals, so sounds fine.
With what trickery did you master the cliffs of logic and reach the city of the Winged Ones?
Only the magic of clear thought, my lord. I meant no harm.
The cliffs of logic. It is the sacred oracle's prophecy, Azure.
Yes, Ariel. It is lucky for you, human, that climbing the cliffs of logic is part of a prophecy that I cannot ignore.
Haha.
We have just been ordered by Wazir Al-Hazred himself to dispose of any strangers that might land on our fair isle. But the prophecy would have a different fate befall you.
The prophecy predicts that whosoever climbs the cliffs of logic will defeat the Minotaur.
Oh, shit.
The Minotaur has violated our sacred catacombs and eats our young in sacrifice. Our own daughter, Lady Celeste, was taken there only this morning as his most recently demanded offering.
Oh, bummer.
A dilemma, then. Whom shall I obey in regards to your fate? The Oracle or the Crown? But since Al-Hazred did not dictate how I was to dispose of intruders, and since you cannot possibly survive the catacombs, your imprisonment there should serve both purposes quite admirably.
That's just smart thinking,
I
buddy.
will not resist you in this, my lord. I shall do my best to save your daughter.
First, I must tell you that the catacombs are a labyrinth of rooms, a place of exceeding danger. You will need many tools and clear wits to survive it.
Azure, he must be allowed time to prepare for the task, if only in the slight chance that he could actually save our Celeste.
Oh, very well. Intruder, my guards will take you to the beach. Prophesied hero or spy, any soldier must be granted time to prepare for battle. Be warned, if you have the courage to actually return to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain and face your destiny, my guards will have orders to take you to the catacombs on sight.
Okay.
I understand, Lord Azure.
If by some miracle you succeed, human, the prophecy grants you a visit with the sacred oracle. Her powers are mighty, her vision all-seeing. Many of our own citizens would be willing to risk certain death in the catacombs for a chance at a meeting with the Oracle. May that thought give you the courage to return.
Oh, I will return, Lady Ariel. You have my word.
So we'll be taken to catacombs on return, and thanks, fellas. We'll meet the Oracle if we succeed.
So you need to like find things.
We need to. The game is giving us time to prepare. Okay. I have no idea what we could possibly need.
Okay, so it didn't give you any hint on that front.
Right.
Okay.
But certainly we'll want to make sure we have a save before we come back here.
Right.
I want to leave myself some early saves here. Before... Okay. So, I think
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
I think it's safe to assume we're done here until we're prepared to do the catacombs, which who knows when that will be. I feel like there's a possibility something somewhere could have changed. Let's go back
Alexander
to
feels a strange pulling sensation.
the Isle of Crown.
See if the old lamps for new guys.
Maybe lamp guy's back. I don't know. Also, when should I stop streaming?
You started about an hour late.
Yeah.
So I'd say if you stop around 7, that should work out fine.
Okay.
As far as our evening goes.
Okay. I think I'm gonna take... not here. Bummer. I'm gonna take one more quick break, and then we'll come back and see if we can accomplish anything else. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we don't have anything that didn't really get us anywhere other than giving us another thing we could do. We could try the catacombs and see what happens. I mean, I feel like we're not going to know for sure if we have what we need until we get there. But I guess I also feel like there has to be stuff we've missed. There's also the question of, we have these different items in the shop we could get. We have the nightingale. We could have a flute, paintbrush, or tinderbox. I don't really know what we might need.
Oops.
And then we've also got all these spells. I don't know if we might need any of the spells in the catacombs.
Don't mind me trying to quietly get out a drying rack and knocking it into stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh! Hello, Culinary Disaster. Unsecret Crush, can you do a quick shout out?
Hello, I'm doing
Welcome,
laundry.
y'all. I'm Robot Spacer. This is Unsecret Crush back here, our resident stream ghost. We're playing some King's Quest VI. Let's see, you were playing Chrono Cross today, I believe? Yes. How's that going? I was actually just thinking when I took a break that I was hoping you would still be playing when I finished up so I could raid you. But I guess we'll have to find somewhere else. Hope y'all are doing good today. And, thanks for that follow. Appreciate it.
I'm sorry to be distracting again because I need to get out the noisier drying rack
Oh, no sweat.
for my purposes.
We'll manage. So I think we're still relatively early in King's Quest VI, so we've accomplished a fair bit. We've been exploring these different islands. Prince Alexander here in the previous game, he met Princess Cassima extremely briefly. They talked for like
All of a minute?
1 minute, and he just has not stopped thinking about her since. It's been months. His mom's like, dude, can you think about something else?
His mom's like, son, it's a problem.
She's from the land of the Green Isles, which is where we're at now, and nobody knows about the land of the Green Isles, so he just was obsessed. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate it. So he just he saw in the magic mirror a vision of Cassima in distress and wishing Alexander could come and save her, and he saw the stars in the sky, and that gave him the information he needed to set sail and find the land of the Green Isles. And shipwrecked, but don't worry, the crew's probably fine. They have lifeboats. Don't worry about it.
They're professional sailors.
And so he's been just wandering around these islands, trying to figure out what's going on. Princess Cassima is allegedly going to be married to what is probably the main bad guy of the game, I imagine.
A pretender to the throne.
Yeah.
Usurper.
The Vizier. I can't remember what his full name was. The name, I can't remember his name, but it's also from somewhere else, and I can't remember.
Something.
Yeah. Anyways, not important, but like I'm sure he's a bad guy, and I'm sure she doesn't actually want to get married to him. It seems like a typical setup. So right now we're just trying to figure out. We went up a bunch of cliffs, and we have an option of going into some catacombs. Where we will be facing a Minotaur. Did they mention the Minotaur? I think they did.
I feel like at some point the Minotaur has been mentioned.
But we're not sure if we're ready for that yet. So it's tough. Also, I like to draw maps as I go through these games. So that's the map of the cliffs, which is a little uninteresting. Here's where we're at right now. The Isle of the Crown. It's been pretty small islands so far, but right now I'm just kind of wondering if anything has changed since we last walked around, and wondering if we have any new solutions to problems.
A group of serving women approach the castle.
Vizier is Sierra for bad guy. Oh.
Hurry up, girls. There's plenty of work afoot today. No time to dawdle.
Oh, am I missing stuff?
Yes, Sergeant Gruff.
Some servant ladies are going into the castle. Oh.
It's well that they're here, Wolf. Cook is about driven himself mad, I hear, worrying over the wedding preparations. Aye, Wolf. What a celebration there will be today. Wine will flow like a river of red.
We went in the castle early in the game, and it was suggested that it was made clear that Prince Alexander would not be going in the castle again. But the game did a kind of little winky bit of dialogue that suggested if we were someone else, perhaps we could go in.
You don't have
I think
anything-
we've just been given a hint as to who that someone else would be.
But you don't have a disguise.
We do not currently have a disguise.
Unless you can do anything with that scarf that you have.
Maybe?
I would think you would need more than
I
just
still
one
think that's
scarf.
for the Minotaur,
Sure.
but that's just my theory. I'm gonna write down that we need a disguise for castle. Servant dress. So many notes here. So that was worth doing at least. Power Ranger maids, yeah.
If you'll only be reasonable. I really must see the princess.
Begone! You're not welcome at the castle, Prince Alexander of Daventry. We have our orders, and they are quite clear.
They did have most of the Power Ranger colors covered there. I think we need to become the 5th Ranger, though. Got this Nightingale we're not sure what to do with. Let's pop over to some other islands. I was just remembering how, like, now we know that the catacombs and the Minotaur are on the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, not the Isle of the Beast, as I assumed.
Right.
The queens on the Isle of Wonder said their singing stone was stolen by... I just wrote down beast. I'm pretty sure they said beast. Which, you know, naturally made me think, yes, the Minotaur on the Isle of the Beast. But now we know the Minotaur's not there, so... Is the beast on the Isle of the Beast? Or is that a different beast?
Could the beast be within?
Is what?
Could the beast be within?
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's a very bad joke. Really was not worth repeating.
Maybe. Never know. Alexander might be a werewolf. That's not what I wanted. Play. Map.
Alexander pulls out his magic
The
map.
Bavarian Hunting Lodge has a long reach.
Let's go to the Isle
Alexander
of
feels
Wonder.
a strange pulling sensation.
Oh.
Oh?
Now that we've just left that island, I might want to go back. I feel like we maybe want a
Alexander
different
pulls out his magic map.
item from the shop to play around with. We currently have a mechanical nightingale,
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
which helped us get a little more friendly with the nightingale, the real nightingale we just saw.
It seemed like we needed something else to really get to know the Nightingale, though.
Right. But my thought is that maybe another item would be useful right now. Like, I'm just making things up, but would a flute help with the wallflowers? I don't know. Maybe they would enjoy some music?
Maybe. You needed to get past the wallflowers to get the hole in the wall?
The hole in the wall, okay. Which is a creature that is also...
Your candy dish is empty. I am sorry, sir, but I have no more mints. Somebody has eaten them all.
Well, get some more then.
Could have done
I feel that is impossible. Without the ferry, I can no longer get imports from the other islands, and we do not grow mint extract on the Isle of the Crown.
Oh, I hate not getting what I want.
Oh no.
Oh no? Were you relying on being able to get more mints?
I don't have a mint. Where did my mint... Did I eat it and not take another one?
You used it to get past the gnomes, I think.
Oh, right. Is that okay? I hope that's okay.
How fare you, good merchant?
I could use more business, if the truth be known.
Let's see, how do we...
Alexander takes a closer look at the items on the counter.
I think it did work on the gnome, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
And I assume that's what happened to it.
Right.
It was used.
What do we want? I want to try the flute.
Might I trade for that flute on the counter?
Certainly. What do you wish to offer me in trade?
Would you mind if I traded this in?
Of course, Prince Alex. Please choose something in exchange for the items on the counter.
Alexander looks closely at the items on the counter to make his selection.
I thought we already... We're going in circles here.
I'll take the flute.
The flute? Very good, Prince Alex. May its music always be sweet. Feel free to trade it back at any time.
Thank you.
I will say, I feel like you might do better business if you didn't just constantly trade your own items
back and forth
after they've been used. Like, right. You should at least... There
should at least be a restocking fee.
Right. But, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. We have used music to solve many a puzzle in this series. That is true. I'm trying to think... Like... After that guy got drunk on those mints, my thought was that having a mint
like you could
would eventually be useful to manipulate him in some way. Right. He loves those dang mints, right? So
a thought that occurred to me is if he is upset enough about the lack of mints because
Alexander pulls out his
trade has been disrupted between the islands, maybe he could turn against his employer and work with you to restore trade. I don't know.
An interesting thought.
I don't know how you would do that in adventure game terms.
Complex.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm trying to like think about in the back of my head now is like, if it was a bad idea to use the mint for the Isle of Wonder guards, what else could we have used for the taste?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sense.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Like I can't think of anything we've come across that would make sense. Like any vegetables we found, we would have had to get past them first. All right. There's our little hole guy.
Greetings, ladies. How charming you look today.
The wallflowers are too shy to talk to Alexander.
We do like that sound.
May I have this dance?
Oh, my!
Oh, nice. Huh.
What?
Something appeared on the chair.
Huh.
Alexander stops playing the flute, but the wallflowers and snapdragons continue to dance, caught up in the music and oblivious to everything around them.
All right. Just having a good time.
Just vibing.
Let's do a quick save here. Think we can get this guy now?
While the
Got him.
wallflowers dance, Alexander snatches the hole in the wall.
I'm very curious if I would have thought of the flute on the wallflowers if I had not played this game before.
Right.
Just
You should scope out that thing on the chair.
yeah. It looks like a teacup to me.
A china teacup is occupying the chair at the moment.
We need a cup to put some swamp ooze in.
What is
Alexander
the
would
swamp ooze
love to sit
for?
a spell, but he's a tad busy at the moment.
Pick up the cup.
Alexander would love to sit a spell, but he's a tad...
What was the cup for? Or the swamp ooze for?
Alexander takes the teacup.
The swamp ooze is for the magic paint spell.
Okay.
We need 1 cup of swamp ooze, river Styx water, and 1 black horse feather. And again, we have a large feather that could be a black horse feather, for all we know.
To get river Styx water, though.
I mean, I guess we need to die?
I bet you've done that so many times and have not obtained anything for it.
I do not remember how that all works. I don't know, maybe if we die but we have a ticket for the guy?
What do you think you're doing?
You startled me. I was just getting some swamp ooze.
Well, you certainly won't get it there! That's not swamp ooze! That's swamp sludge!
No.
He's right, you know. But he could be a little nicer about telling you. He's not a very pleasant stick in the mud.
Nobody asked you! Be quiet!
Jeez.
Oh, the trials of being a mere bump on a log.
Okay, so where do we get the ooze from?
Perhaps you could toss me some swamp ooze, since you seem to be able to recognize it. I can only reach this bit by the path.
Well, hoity-toity, look who's Mr. Wants so much! You think I got a job here passing around precious swamp matter? You should be so lucky!
He's an utter waste of oxygen. I'd save my breath if I were you.
Who are you?
I'm Bump on a Log, and that's my brother, Stick in the Mud. We've had this thing about each other ever since our childhood. Mom always liked me best.
She did not! That's absolutely not true!
He's a bit lazy, you see. He's got the only swamp ooze in the swamp right next to him. But do you think he'd move a finger to help you get some? Hardly. He'd try to brain you with it more than likely. His temper's about the only thing that ever gets a workout, and that on yours truly.
Oh, like you've moved at all in the last century! Like you're Mr. Physical Activity!
Just because I can't reach anything, he thinks he can throw gushy swamp matter at me and just say whatever he likes. If only I could turn the tables on that heckler, he might learn some respect. But as you can see, I am a mere bump on a log and must be content with my lot.
Oh, shut up! You couldn't hit the broadside of a barn even if you had something to throw! Just shut up!
You see how he is?
So, earlier I clicked an item on the stick and there was some dialogue about why would Alexander want to throw that at this stick? And I'm like, huh? This suggests there was a reason to throw something at the stick, and now it makes sense. But sounds like, I don't know how this works here. Let's save. Also, like, clearly we need to trick the stick into throwing some swamp ooze so we can have it. And it seems like we need to do that by throwing something at it or giving the bump something to throw.
But the bump ain't got arms.
Yeah. But, like, it seems wrong to throw the tomato, but that is also the thing that seems like it makes the most sense, right?
Right, and they can yell at each other.
I got a lawyer, you know. Yeah, there's kidnapping laws in this here kingdom.
It is being very mean to us, so maybe it's all for the best. I think it's reasonable that it's being mean, but...
Perhaps I can help you out by throwing a rotten tomato at Stick in the Mud for you.
Really? I appreciate the gesture, but the swamp is broader than it looks. Only a native like myself would be able to hit him from here.
Okay.
Huh.
I thought this might come in handy the next time your brother starts picking on you.
Aha! Finally, old Bump on the Log's not so defenseless, is he?
Hey! What you doing there? Watch the pulp, would you?
Now, Bumpy, remember all I've given you.
Oh, God.
The only thing you've ever given me is mud. Take this.
No! Not into the swamp!
He did have arms after all.
Okay, I give up. Jeez, sorry.
Well, I guess it's not very pleasant having things thrown at you. I'm sorry.
You mean it? Really? Brother.
Brother.
Stick in the Mud and Bump on a Log, exhausted from the battle, immediately doze off into naps. Rotten Tomato, being equally lazy, decides to join them.
Well, I'm glad they resolved things in the end, at least. I'm not sure that was the best way to do it, but, you know, we make do. It looks like we got a whole lot of swamp booze now. Did Bump go to sleep?
The glob of swamp ooze has nothing to say.
Okay. I just wanted to, make sure before we go scooping ooze off of it.
I wish to point out that it is after 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish up here.
Okay.
Alexander fills the teacup with the swamp ooze.
Tomato's not dead, he just has a new home.
Yeah, he's just napping.
He's got a great friend and a nice place to be now. I think it worked out quite well in the end. Oh. We drank our milk. We should get more milk.
Alexander takes a bottle of milk from the milkweed bush. Apparently, the dogwood tree doesn't like Alexander standing that close.
Sorry, buddy. Can you pet the dog?
Alexander considers climbing the tree.
Okay.
And quickly changes his mind.
Just checking. Yeah, we'll go ahead and replace that. That's fine. And I think that's where we're going to leave it today. As much as I would love to continue. Made some good progress, though. What's our score up to? 76 out of 231. Not bad. Still got a lot to go. So, schedule button. One thing that is not on that schedule, last night I finally got the notification that my Playdate has shipped. If you are not familiar with the Playdate, hello and Secret Crush, it is a tiny yellow gaming system from the fine folks at Panic. They normally make software mostly for Mac, but lately they've ventured out into, they published Firewatch, they published the Untitled Goose Game, and now they're making a handheld gaming system. It's this cute little yellow device. It's got a little crank on it you can use as one of the controls, and it's got a D-pad and a couple of buttons, and a nice high-resolution monochrome screen. It's very quirky, and it looks wonderful, and I'm very excited to get it. So my plan is that I will do an unboxing stream on Monday afternoon. I assume it'll come in the afternoon, usually when the post office shows up. So I'll open it up and we'll check it out for the first time. And it should be fun, I think. And then I will be doing some additional Playdate streams in the future. I don't fully know how the thing works, but like when you buy it, you get a season of games, and they're delivered like your season starts when you first get your Playdate, and then like over time games are added, and like, you know, say if someone else gets one a month from now, like their season will start is when they get theirs, so they will still have to wait for the games, which I think is a fun idea, and it should be interesting. So we'll have more games to check out over time. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to work that into my streaming schedule, but I will definitely be doing occasional Playdate streams. There's also games on itch. Yeah, like it's completely open, so you can like sideload anything. You can sell games wherever you want. You could put them on your own website and let people download them from your website. You know, anything you want to do. There's already some games on itch you can buy, which is very cool. I think the way you install them, you actually go to the Playdate website and just upload the file there, and then it will appear on your Playdate, which is very neat. And then they're also, I don't think it's out yet, but they're working on basically an app called Catalog, which I think the idea is to feature a variety of games. Some Panic might be selling themselves. Some, might be on itch or wherever. Just kind of I think a curated selection of cool games that are available. So that should be neat too. What number was I? My order number is in like the 1700s. If I understand things correctly, like that, I'm basically like the 700 and something order. And I think they said group 1, they're hoping to get shipped out like within a month. So I think they're still pretty early on. I managed to get mine in pretty early, relatively speaking. So hopefully everybody waiting anxiously will be able to get theirs soon. So that'll be Monday, and then also on Monday on Secret Crush we'll be streaming more Genshin in the evening.
We're going back to the hole. And on Tuesday I'll be doing more Gabriel Knight. So a very stream heavy start to our week. And then a week from now we'll be back for more King's Quest 6. And now I'm going to try to find somebody we can go raid. Thanks y'all for hanging out. I always appreciate you being here. It's always a nice time. I appreciate it very much. And thanks again, Silver, for those gift subscriptions rather. Hopefully folks enjoy their emotes and such. Let's see who we got here. Two different people I was hoping to be able to raid today, and they both finished before me. Bummer.
Let's...
You got any candidates? You follow. Okay. You follow the person I was going to suggest because I wasn't sure if you follow them.
Who?
Mad Sammy 99.
Yeah. I think that's who we're going to go visit.
Cool.
Got some Kirby and the Forgotten Land going on over there, which is a fun-looking little game. I still have not had a chance to play. I've been knee-deep in Genshin. I've been trying to get caught up both on the game in general and also on the current event, which ends like
Time's running
at the
out.
end of the day tomorrow, I think.
Time's wasting.
But someday I will play Kirby, and I'm very excited. But in the meantime, let's go watch Mad Sammy 99 play a little. Thanks again for hanging out, y'all. I hope you have a good weekend, and we'll see you around. Take care.